My name is Elizabeth Janzen, and I'm Assistant Professor of Flute at Texas A&M University, Kingsville. This video is part of a series of mini lessons designed to highlight practice techniques and approaches that you can use to better prepare for the 2014 Texas All-State auditions on the flute. Today we're taking a look at the third etude, number 23 in C-sharp minor by Karg-Elert, and how you can best approach all of the tempo indications in this etude. Karg-Elert wrote this set of etudes with the intent of helping students of the 20th and 21st century who were facing increasingly complicated challenges in the repertoire of their time. Throughout the past 80 years, composers have been experimenting with different levels of control over the performer by dictating increasing amounts of information in the music. This etude is an example of that control. Instead of allowing the performer the freedom of interpreting their own expressive gestures, Karg-Elert has instructed us on every push, pull, and nuance in the music. At first, this overload of information can be confusing and even intimidating. But it's important to remember that all of this information serves one purpose: to make the music naturally expressive, which is of course a goal that we have anyways as great musicians. It's important that you start by mastering the rhythms and the notes in this etude. Even though these tempo changes will blur the rhythmic integrity of the piece, you'll never be able to play it naturally if you're not comfortable with the rhythmic pulse. So spend some time mastering that before you start interpreting the tempo markings. Once you feel comfortable in those areas, start by adding the tempo changes in an exaggerated manner. This is going to help highlight Karg-Elert's intent. So I'm going to demonstrate with the first 2.5 bars, and every ritardando I'm going to do as slowly as possible. And every tempo I'm going to do as strictly as possible. And every accelerando I'm going to push as much as I can to try and get a wider sense of the phrase. Now you can hear that this sounds very jagged, and of course I'd never perform it this way. But I'll practice it this way so that when I do decide to taper off a little bit and be more subtle, I have a very clear feeling of the direction that Karg-Elert wanted me to go in. So now, having done that, I can hear the drama that he's looking for and the weight that he's looking for in those first ritardando eighth notes, the first 2 eighth notes of the piece. And I have a better idea of how the remainder of the bar kind of tumbles in, accelerates into the second bar. And I have a clear idea of the importance of the E and the D sharp on the second beat of the second bar. He puts a ritardando there. That tells me that he really wants me to savor those notes. And then the accelerando finishes out the passage. Once I'm clear on this, I can start to shade those gestures a little bit, tone it down a little bit, so that it feels more natural but still maintains those basic intents. As you work this way and start to be more expressive on your own, you'll realize that many of the gestures that Karg-Elert has indicated are expressive ideas that you would probably have done anyways, especially as you get later in the piece where you have large groups of fast notes. We would never play those in strict time, but we would always add nuance to them in order to create shape and direction in the music. So in the end, while all of this information that Karg-Elert has provided in the etude might throw you at first, like everything else in a difficult piece, it just needs to be addressed in a slow and methodical way. Then, once you've understood all of the information that he's added to this music, you are better able to understand his instructions and interpret his instructions in a way that will fit naturally with the musical phrase. Good luck and happy practicing.